Alrighty everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far. We have a lot of great things on the horizon by John, George, and Dave, who are still working to this day as a trio of a team, if you will, to really bring Star Wars back to its best ability to really suit the fans' expectations. Now, a lot of this will be done through Ahsoka Season 1 and Season 2 that's already in the early stages, as well as Mandalorian Season 4. Now, there's a lot of projects that will be announced later this year, as well as in 2024, that's really going to set up this entire roadmap of the franchise. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that there's a lot of projects in different phases of development at Lucasfilm, and one of the big ones right now has a lot to do with how John, Dave, and others are becoming a dream team, if you will, that's going to take Star Wars in a different path. Now, one thing that I think a lot of fans are going to have different opinions on this. Fans are going to either love this or hate this. There is a big project in the works that is set to reshoot/refilm the original trilogy in a very unique way that is going to actually shape up specific moments in the original trilogy movies by George Lucas. So let's get right into all of this and exactly what this means. Now, with Disney and Lucasfilm now preparing to develop multiple Star Wars projects at once, many of which to be TV shows, there is one big project in particular that is going to allow Disney to refilm the original trilogy in a very specific way for the fans. Now, right now, creators like George Lucas, Favreau, Filoni, Tony Gilroy, and yes, even James Cameron are getting involved in a project called Blue Point, which is a described series about space and land battles with the occasional special event in the series. The big plan right now is to modernize both the Battle of Endor and the Battle of Yavin, frame by frame, by refilming/reshooting the entire scenes, while also adding in new footage and sequences that have never been done before to add more to the story. Now, Project Blue Point is set to give fans a full-on modern version of both Death Star explosions and the consequences that came along with them, the trench run, as well as the core of the second Death Star. Now, let me stop right here for 1 second. Now, we talked about this on and off before in the past. I don't know if you guys missed it, but Project Blue Point, essentially what it is it's going to be an entire anthology show that takes you through multiple space and land battles. And it's actually modeled after the old Rogue Squadron video games. This is almost like Patty Jenkins' idea for her Star Wars movie that got canceled, except it's going to be based in the eras that a lot of Star Wars fans grew up with. Either, of course, the original trilogy in this case, and moving onwards. So what's interesting about this is that this is all going to take place within the original trilogy realm, right? Anything ranging from episode, of course, 4 all the way until episode 6, showcasing all these great battles, either on land or in space. But two big ones that they are going to be refilming and reshooting for, of course, the fans is basically the Battle of Endor and the Battle of Yavin. Now, the special event that I mentioned before is going to be the recreation of the Luke and Vader lightsaber duel on board of the second Death Star. We'll talk about that in just a second. However, on top of this, land battles will also be recreated entirely on Endor, with also newly shot footage of Luke fighting Vader that will be done also in a modern way, but will be used sparingly while also including new scenes for Luke and Vader that have never been done in the originals that will serve as new moments that take place when the scene cuts away to the space battle and the fight on the ground. So basically, their structure of doing this, and by the way, this is all being run by Favreau, Filoni, George Lucas, Tony Gilroy, and yes, even James Cameron, is basically the concept of the whole Luke and Vader thing. Is they're going to do a lot of obscure shots where they're not going to have to focus on their faces too much, like Luke's, for example. A lot of faraway sequences will be done, different angles, stuff like that. But also newly shot sequences that are going to show us what's happening when they cut away to the Battle of Endor, like in the original cuts of Return of the Jedi, for example. So what's interesting about this further is that on top of this, Lucas is said to have given the okay on all of this and will be a part of this dream team that is going to essentially Rogue One-ize the original trilogy major scenes. This is something that will not involve Kathleen Kennedy at all, and is going to be a big production that will be very cinematic. It's described to be the most expensive Star Wars show yet, even a higher budget plan than Star Wars Ahsoka. The plan is to get this out by 2026, unless the writer's strike continues to delay the entire process. Now, look, what I love so much about John, George, and Dave and how they are working together as a trio is the fact that it really just goes to show you that they care about the fans. I'm okay with this, I will be honest. I'm not going to be the type of fan that would really hate this idea, but I would be worried about this idea until it comes out. Absolutely, I will remain skeptical even if it is being run by John, Dave, George, etc. But I do have faith in them. I think that they're going to nail this and knock it out of the park. We gotta view it this way, is that it's gonna be the same exact thing with some additional footage, but it's gonna be all modernized. We're gonna get a new take of the trench run, the Death Star explosions, the consequences of those explosions, such as the wreckage that lands on Kef Bir. That's, by the way, the water-esque planet, or moon, whatever it was, that you do see in The Rise of Skywalker from the Death Star 2 wreckage. So it's interesting, to say the least, that we will be finally seeing not just newly shot footage to be added in, but also reshot footage that's going to recreate these scenes frame by frame, and also using archived footage. So you're going to have old footage of Luke Skywalker in the X-Wing talking in that trench run scene while modernizing it on the exterior shots. That's going to be really interesting to me on how they're going to be able to repurpose that old footage as well and fit it in with the modern footage. I think it's a visionary thing. I think that they really have great intentions coming out of this. They probably want to modernize all of these scenes that fans grew up with to give them a different take on it. And not only that, I think that if these particular moments create new fans, they're going to want to go ahead and check out the original trilogy even more so. So we know that to this day, John and Dave want to really be pioneers with things. They want to do things that no creator has ever done before, and the fact that George Lucas is okay with this, I think it says a lot. I think he is very okay with the idea because he knows who's handling it, he knows he's involved, he's going to be giving the okay on every single shot, every single frame that's going to be redone for Project Bluepoint. Now, to be clear again, Project Bluepoint is going to be a high-budget TV series. It's going to be very cinematic and movie-like. It's not going to feel like a fan fiction or a fan film or anything like that, right? Or a fan series, whatever you want to call it. This is going to be a very high-budget series. They want to make sure that it's going to gravitate toward hardcore fans a lot, as well as original trilogy fans as well. So, anyways, guys, I would love to hear your take on this below in the comments. Does this worry you? Does this not worry you? Do you support it? Do you not? And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
Night to moon, we hear them moans again.